Hey, what up, everybody? This is steviebreech coming to you. I'm putting up a video tonight about the TNA spoilers. I apologize to anybody who doesn't want to know anything that happens on this Thursday's episode of TNA, so make sure you turn it off. I didn't leave anything in the description box or the video title saying, basically what happens. So if you don't want to know, this is your one and only chance to get out. Basically, I was very, very surprised when I found out that they put the title on James Storm tonight. I understood why they did it. Kurt Angle was hurt, and they needed somebody to put it on. And if the whole thing about Hulk Hogan not wanting the title on Robert Roode, it doesn't make much sense to put it on James Storm. I don't really see a whole lot of difference in these guys. The one thing I can say is that at least Rude, was a little bit more, qualified to be there. He's a guy that in 2007 they were pushing towards making a main event player. I don't know if they were pushing to making him a manager, but when he got out of Team Canada and they gave him the whole, the whole looking for a manager deal, and then he went through picking Miss Brooks and they really put him in some high quality matches, and they would have put him in some high quality feuds. Then he got stuck with Eric Young, and that sort of ended it there. He also, I believe, joined up with Christian, and then joined the Angle Invasion for a minute. Then he was out of there, and all sorts of stuff. But there was a good hot minute when it looked like he was climbing the ranks, and he was a hot commodity to become a main contender for the TNA champion, if not. Then he got put into beer money, which when you go back and look at it, was more than likely just a holding place for this guy. They were putting up against LAX and what was supposed to be, I would bet just a 1 month, payoff just so he's on the pay-per-view, he's featured on the show, just so you sort of don't forget about him. They put him with James Storm, who was another great tag team wrestler who was out of America's Most Wanted, who had been through like some small mid card feuds and it took off from there. That launched Beer Money, which went on a 4-year venture of becoming what I think is the world's greatest tag team that they have out there. That today, I don't think anybody comes close to them. I just think that their matches were great. You can go back and watch their series they did with the Guns, and that's awesome. But all in all, they were great tag team champions. But now we're talking about the TNA championship, the real deal. They put the title on Storm, who when I look back at it, and I think he's only had 2 real feuds in his whole life. In TNA as a single star, he did the whole feud with Rhino, where they fought over, if Rhino liked to drink alcohol or not, and they did the whole thing where he dumped the alcohol in Rhino's mouth and he flipped out and they beat the crap out of each other. And that was over. And then he went into a beer drinking championship feud with Eric Young that lasted a couple months, where they fought over a foam WWF title with beer accessories on it. And they had beer drinking competitions instead of wrestling matches. Those are the 2 feuds he's ever been in as a single star. I'm not saying that putting him in Beer Money and putting him into Fortune and Immortal uh, didn't give him a good rub. Didn't help steal the show with Robert Roode out there. I don't want to take anything away from him. I think he's a great wrestler. I liked him as a single star, but I also thought of him as a mid carder. The one thing that is wrong with TNA is that they don't utilize they utilize their mid card talent, but they have a mid card title. They have which was the Legends title, which became the Global title, which became a television title, which they invented this belt and they gave it to Booker T. The whole time that they made it, when it first came out as the Legends title, I never really understood what the Legends title was going to be. I sort of felt like maybe they made some promises to Booker T about him being a champion, and he was getting a little bit unhappy with the company. So I sort of felt like they just made this title to give it to him, to say, shut up. We don't want you to be our world champion, but we want you to have something because we don't want you to leave. But then he dropped that title to AJ Styles, and he went around the world. And just where it's at now, it just doesn't matter. The last thing that I can remember them doing with it was Eric Young is running around Hollywood looking for Scott Baio. I mean, that is what they're utilizing their mid card title for. That is a great thing that they should be using on these guys. It's all right when you make somebody a champion out of the blue. I know the biggest title change of this year is probably Eddie Edwards winning the title for Ring of Honor, and that was a title change that not many people saw coming, and that's what made it so big, and that was great. I mean, I didn't really follow the storyline of Eddie Edwards at all, but when I saw that match and the story that they told of him becoming the champion, it made me mark out. It made me feel good for this guy that I didn't even know. Um, but I just it just makes me wrap my head around this whole thing. If Hulk Hogan really has that much stroke there, where he's gonna cock block Rude from becoming the champion, and they just put it on his tag title holder. The first thing that Storm did when he wins the title is he tries to give the belt to Rude like he doesn't even want it. Like this is yours, you deserve it. They went with a whole sort of screw job finish at the end with Rude's hand was under the ropes, and Angle was on the ropes when they did the pin. So I thought they were just gonna, do a rematch at the next pay per view, or maybe give him some sort of a just a rematch on Impact, maybe to move on to the next feud. So it didn't look like he was that bad by doing the job at the pay per view. But man, I think they really missed their mark. Where they go from here, I honestly don't know. I was thinking that the easiest money that they were gonna make was putting Jeff Hardy against Kurt Angle at the next pay per view. I thought that was how they were gonna rehabilitate Jeff Hardy as a singles competitor in TNA and make him around that champion, who I guess all the fans of that company have already forgave him. There is one funny spot at the tapings where Hardy takes his shirt off, throws it in the crowd, and one of the good fans throws it back at him, John Cena style in Canada. But um, all in all, where they go with this title, I don't know. It looks like Angle's going to be taking some time off to get himself fixed up, which sucks because next Friday I have tickets for Impact when they come here to Sacramento, and it doesn't look like he's going to be there. Freaking yeah, 88 was going to make the trip up here, to get the one chance to meet Kurt Angle, since it's his favorite wrestler. So I guess it's a good thing that he didn't buy his tickets to come up here. But I don't know. I'm guessing that the new champion's gonna be the guy that you take pictures with after the show. I'm not really sure. Hardy's coming also. Hopefully they'll find somebody to replace him. I'm talking out loud. I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying, but hopefully they'll replace him with another star. Rap Van Dam's already coming. I don't know. Sting's too far out of the way. I don't think that they would pay money for Sting to do a house show, but I'm sure they'll replace Kurt Angle with somebody. But all in all, the TNA. Um, Even though I know the spoilers, I'll watch this show. It's a title change. It's a big deal. It's something you're gonna want to remember. The other storylines on the show are pretty good. It looks like the Hogan storyline is gonna be all right. I don't want to give too much of it away in case somebody out there didn't read them yet. But um, honestly, WWE is at the point where their whole walkout storyline with the COO and Laurinaitis, I'm watching, but at the same time, it just makes me mad. I'm at this one point where I'm not like a few people that have said that they're giving up on WWE, but I'm at the point where it's been a long time since it's just like I just think this show sucks, and I'm pretty much a homer for WWE. You put some stuff out there, I'm gonna watch it. But this whole storyline from the beginning with Vince crying and Triple H taking over, and Triple H has his job and he gets fired, and then he doesn't care. He just no sells it. But then you come back the next week on Raw, and he's still the COO after he was relieved of his duties, but his COO duty was still intact. But now he's just the Raw he never really was the Raw GM, but he's not the Raw GM anymore. He has no power over Raw. He has no power over SmackDown, I guess, either because of the whole Teddy Long thing, being the GM over there. So what the hell does he do as a COO? It doesn't really make any sense. He's supposed to be in charge of the day-to-day decisions, and I should probably be saving this for another video, but um, I don't know. Rude as a champion's probably gonna pay off good. Where they go from here, if I was doing it, I'd make sure he gives all the guys in the rub. I don't know how you do it because Sting is now your Impact GM or your authority figure. Dixie sort of put him in charge so he can do whatever he wants on the show. But I don't know. I guess I would put Fortune into some sort of a fatal four way. Make sure all these guys get a shot at the title, especially with the fact that once Storm won it, he just tried to give it away to his buddy, and because I don't think anybody's stepping up as a defender, especially if Angle's gonna take time off and go home. But that's where I think we're going from there. What do you guys think? Send me your video responses and your comments. Thank you.